Greetings, everyone. Welcome to CRWS review on Atlanta, season 3, episode 6, White Fashion. And the themes that I am gonna palette out are the tacky, trashy, and terroristic arrangement and interactions that we must have while in the system of racism, white supremacy. And that was ever present throughout, just the tackiness, the trashiness of the system. And getting started with the decoding the review, counter racist review is this one of the mascots attached to the fashion concept of this episode. I see here two things. I see a raccoon, and a skunk. All right, and when they were talking about the purpose of this jersey being produced, is that it was for their athletic line. You know, it's for their athletic consumers. And from Race Code War, we should understand athletic to mean non-white, particularly non-white person classified as Black. It's like urban wear, street clothing, nigger clothing, non-white people clothing, etc. But I see here the raccoon, and that has often been shortened to coon, and that has often been used to name call victims of racism who do what who just do things under the system of racism and white supremacy that the confusion compels him to do. And a lot of times they're called sellouts and coons and whatnot, but they're just victims of racism. And I also see the skunk, and a skunk is a smelly animal. It's also a rodent along with the raccoon. So associating animals, rodent animals to Black people is very common. We also learned from Race Code War that they use little caricatures, little cartoon characters and mascots to enthrall the youth, because the youth connect with like having little characters like this on their clothing. So it's I think that was very telling. And also, that's all I have about this particular thing. And then we literally a few frames over is this imagery represented with get it on the screen. Next scene. Oh, I'm super past it. Like the next frame over, we are given this imagery of just this right here. We see this imagery with this white woman around on this color, and I think this is symbolizing how white people, suspected racists, they use Black clothing associated with Black people to get what they drive for, that color in them / on them. And also we can recall Alfred Paperboy mentioning pornography in this episode, and this is very reminiscent of some sort of porn scene, if you ask me. Yeah, so it also reminded me of like some sort of porn scene setup. Yeah, it's just really bizarre.
If I could add,
yeah, please
the
do.
significance of the Central Park 5. I am not totally versed, but I have heard of this somewhat. There's a documentary or a show. I think it's been dramatized on Netflix about five young black males who were accused of raping a white female in Central Park. They became known as the Central Park 5. And in this, you see a white female wearing the Central Park 5 jersey, and there are what appear to be 5 black males. And now, on the picnic blanket, there are 4, but if you look closely on the other side of the picture, you see one other black male sticking out wearing in the underwear. So there are 5 black males and a white female, and then the jersey Central Park 5. I don't think that is coincidental. I think that is exactly how it's supposed to be. So this is a great example of white people, how they will romanticize these type of activities. These I'm not sure what happened to Central Park 5. I think they all went to prison for life or died. Somebody correct me, but yeah.
They went to
They're all
greater
alive.
confinement for a very long time, and now
Yeah.
they're out of greater confinement.
Yeah. So I guess to add also to the themes that I was seeing, especially in that first one, is white people are ignorant about racism. That was I think the whole theme throughout this, and pretty much Black people are to blame for for what's going on, and the like not being able to solve racism. In the first scene, you see while he's going through the showing the guy the clothing, I don't think there's a single Black person in the room. So that goes back to there's no who was there any Black person in the room when they were making these kind of decisions? It goes back to that. It's trying to paint that white people have no idea what they're doing. And I think also the fact that this is supposed to take place in Europe, it's supposed to be some kind of pass as well. Like they don't know, they're European. That happened in America. But I don't think it's it's part of the confusion, right? White people are very much aware of what they're doing and the sorts of products they are producing. So that was one of the themes that I saw a lot, especially in those opening scenes, is white people are ignorant about racism. They have no idea that the significance of the Central Park 5. They have no idea of the raccoon imagery. They don't know. That's apparently that might be the curse that Donald Glover's talking about. I could be wrong.
Excellent catch with your the Central Park 5. That was definitely in plain sight right before me, and I definitely did not see that. But it's a good eye, and just comparing like having that imagery, Central Park 5, that being coded as a porn gang rape scene, and also being coded as them politicizing racist attacks against non-white people, like making that clothing attire Central Park 5 is what really happened. You remember how Gucci made that little we have lots of documentation of racist clothing that I'm gonna share courtesy of Mr. Monsoon. But yeah, good catch, Mr. Quickie. Excellent.
Yeah, like I caught the Central Park part, but I forgot the actual number 5. Yeah, that was one of the notes I wrote down watching it for the second time. Uh, like I said, they called them experts, and when I heard that part, I'm like, okay, um, that's not true. And then the black male that was like, a little flamboyant said that racism is going to end in 2024. Now, the crazy part about that was that why I wrote that down, because I just heard a broadcast with Gus, maybe like last week, where he was talking about the solar eclipse back in 2017 and saying that racism should end in 2024. Because that's supposed to be the next solar eclipse in 2024. So I wrote that down. But yeah, I said so far, yeah, this episode was just insane, insane, insane. I'll mute, but I got more, but I just want to point that out. That's all. I'll mute.
I couldn't help but laugh, at the expert thing. Sometimes I feel that, the things that are most true and most damaging about the system are the things that I find myself laughing at. But the experts, that for me displays like, Black people are the problem. They are the main problem. You have these so-called experts here, and they're not asking for the correct things. We've got experts here to solve the problem. The experts that the white people picked out and are racially showcasing, and they are here to solve the problem. But when the problem doesn't get solved, who do you blame? You don't blame the white people who picked them. You blame the victims of racism they're showcasing.
Excellent segue into read some code from the United Independent Epistolary Code System Concept. And this is from a word guy, expert, because non-white people are certainly not experts according to Neely Fuller Jr.'s definition of expert from 113 of the word guide, which says, expert, use this word to apply to one who never makes a mistake, one who knows all things about all things, or one who knows all things about one thing. Note, during the existence of white supremacy racism, the only experts on white supremacy racism and how it is practiced are the white supremacist racists themselves. And I mean,
certainly, that isn't the first time. It certainly won't be the last time that the racist white supremacists will put Black people up and call them experts. I mean, what exactly makes those individuals experts? I think one thing is that how they were saying they've been in social justice for a long time. That was something that they said several times. We've been doing this social justice for a long time. Where that, kind of claiming that they are experts, right? Once again, it seemed like when they were in the conference room talking, right? I noticed in the beginning, the first time I watched it, I didn't notice that there was a white person in the room. But then I noticed that there is a white person in the room. Well, somebody who is definitely classified as white. So they're being monitored, right? While they're having that discussion, they are not talking about actual things that would produce a system of justice, nothing constructive. It's showing that when Black people get together, they don't work towards any kind of constructive means. Everybody's looking out for themselves, trying to get what they can get. This person is getting some donations. This person's winning a book deal. And that is, I think, it's pretty, I guess it's somewhat accurate, considering how BLM has been in the news lately. And also that one of the victims, the anti-sexual one, he had that scarf with BLM on it the entire episode. But, they don't get together to talk about anything constructive. And, when Al is attempting to, do his best to create or get something constructive, he is met with a lot of resistance and pretty much people getting off topic.
Precisely, just a lot of sabotage and just lack of actual attention and seriousness to the matter at hand. I observed from everyone, all of these so-called activists. I don't know what activists is supposed to be. That's why I don't consider myself one. And like this Khalil victim of racism, just very just telling. This is very tragic and a good display of the many non-white people who have been allowed. And it reminds me of another theme about this episode: racial showcasing. Racial showcasing is throughout this episode. Yeah, and all of these characters that we saw, all the non-white people, the so-called Asian, the so-called maybe Latino male, non-white male, whatever I'm gonna get a still. I'm gonna get on a still soon, but I'm focusing on Khalil right now, who I suspect. I mean, before I get this image off the screen, we're talking. This film is all white fashion, and just racism, white supremacy, and we have right here, coolest monkey in the jungle, debacle racism from H&M, and we have Prada. They were making little accessory clothing items that look, very overtly racist.
Keychains. They were making racist keychains.
Oh yeah,
And large keychains.
Yeah, these are keychains, and the list goes on. I mentioned this one earlier. Just in your face racism, white supremacy, but we're talking about the total global system, and hopefully this is some motivation to solve the problem. But yeah, I suspect Khalil is supposed to be a reflection of D. Ray, which is a victim of racism, and I suspect the black female who was also at the table is supposed to be some sort of reflection of the Black Lives Matter black female person. But anywho, just an example of racial showcasing. These victims of racism are not actually working towards solving the race problem and producing a system of justice by guaranteeing no one is allowed to be mistreated and those who need help receive constructive help. They're not working towards that. They're working towards improving and increasing their own comfort and their own glory and material gain, just like the racist white supremacists have trained them to do. So it's really an excellent display of that. And I really hope people can take that away who may find this broadcast what this episode is displaying, because these are not activists or are people who actually care about so-called Black people. They're just victims of racism, highly confused victims of racism who have been trained quite well to not care about Black people and to treat Black people in a manner that white people treat Black people, as a way to gain gain something to benefit. You benefit from Black people. You're not supposed to help them. You benefit from that. You benefit from their struggles, but actually helping them do something constructive, that's not what we do in this so-called social justice field. And this character right here on the left, this non-white male, don't really have much to say, besides that, hey, if you are a non-white, you are still a nigger. I don't care if you are so-called Mexican, so-called whatever. If it means not white, if it means that you are not a white person, hey, welcome to the nigger club. Hope you are working to solve the race problem. And
05,
go ahead.
I wrote down Paul Wall because that's all I kept seeing every time I was looking at him. Like I thought of Paul Wall every time I saw him on the screen. So that's what I wrote down. So I didn't think he was a non-white person at all.
I think he's supposed to be representative of Sean King, right?
Possibly.
Oh.
I don't think any of these characters represent any one person. I think they represent examples. So for example, this person is simply a non-white person who would probably be classified as brown by the white supremacists. He is someone who probably is of Spanish descent who says the N-word, who has no problem calling Black people nigger / nigga to their face. I think he represents. Yeah, he's definitely not white, but also definitely non-Black as well. And he represents those people who infiltrate Black spaces and benefit from Black things. So Black people are given trinkets and given pitiful handouts. He's there to collect them. He has no real care for Black people. He doesn't value Black people. He is definitely possesses a white supremacist mindset, as he was trained to do so. But I don't think he is supposed to be any one person. Like the whole concept is that he represents the millions of people who've been brain trashed to say nigga, call Black people nigga to their faces, knowing that they're not Black, and then thinking Black people are so stupid that they can call themselves Black in front of Black people. And then you have the people like the Khalil and the Black female who allow it to happen. Paperboy, being from the streets, the gutter, as they call it in the show, he doesn't have a problem calling calling a snake, or saying you're not, you're at least questioning him, at least trying to be codified in some form or sense. But um, I do think all the characters represent like just examples. Khalil reminds me of Billy Porter. It reminds me a lot of like anti-sexual black males who have putting themselves on the white pedestal to be glorified and to receive pitiful handouts. Um,
I
but
agree.
Wow.
I think focusing on like the racially showcased people and like identifying them to one person is like not what the show was wanting people to do. Is wanting you to think about this is a global problem. And racism, white supremacy is a global problem, and every person you see has another copy because they all have the same mindset. They're all programmed the same way.
I think
Yeah.
the codified person see that and that makes sense. But I think that the intention
Yeah.
is very blatantly like this is Sean King. Like because of the exact things that they're saying are the exact things that they say about Sean King. Like
Yeah.
your perception is very correct, but I don't
Yes,
think
sir.
that Donald Glover is codified enough to think about it in that large thing. I think he's good at just taking shots at this person.
Yeah, I think your analysis was very, very stellar and profound, but the people behind the show are not putting these images together to teach us about white supremacy. This is why we are here. So yeah, I understand that, and
No, totally
thanks for
agree.
correcting, thanks for correcting my confusion for like forgetting that these are like archetypes, caricature. They have churned out thousands of Sean Kings, churned out thousands of Billy Porters. I didn't even think about Billy Porter at all. I don't think about D. Ray because of the fellow host mentioned it. But yeah, this is excellent. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. I also picked up some dialogue from the beginning that I suspect associates like white fashion with child pedophilia. The main guy, I guess the guy who's on the board, the white older male, he mentions that this he's like, what's this design? And he says it's a rock star, a sexy rock star. Kids love him. So to me, like whenever you contrast sex and then the next line is associated with children, to me that's like a code, and it's very very intentional. And to have a old white male, and the episode's called White Fashion. It's very interesting to hear like sex and then kids love them. Very 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 suspicious programming and suspicious dialogue spoken by the white male in the beginning. Did anyone else catch that?
Yeah, I caught it. And pretty much now I'm thinking of Jimmy Savile, a guy that was in the UK. Now, granted, he wasn't in fashion, but he did, abuse children. Well, I mean, he like, sexually molested children. So.
Yeah, he's destroyed children, thousands of them, perhaps.
Yeah, thousands for sure, over decades.
Yeah. Now, yeah, he's in the same league with these so-called fashion people. And yeah, excellent. Another fascinating decoding. I did that. It was highly suspicious. Them mentioning children and sex, along the same lines. And yeah, this is what the system of white supremacy does. Rapes children globally. And it produces children out of. It appreciates raping children so much that hey, it makes children out of everyone not white. I've been a victim for quite a while. I am still classified as a children by racist men and racist women. Why? Because they like me in this children position, especially if they are able to continue raping me in this position. So very very bizarre. But this is racist culture. This is white culture. I suspect. Could be incorrect, but I suspect it is. Like, Miss B.
I apologize for coming in late. I don't know if anybody mentioned this earlier, but the image that's showing right now. So the lead white woman, blonde hair, race code war. The designer is wearing black. The lead white woman is wearing black. The lead older businessman, he's wearing navy blue. His assistant, well, I suspect this is assistant. She's wearing all black, total black. And I think there's something to say about that. Did anybody else pick up on that? The clothes that they're wearing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I picked that up, especially when they're talking business and talking about how to solve their problem. And also he wears black at the panel, which is also orchestrated to appear as if it's like a final supper, the last supper, the famous painting of white Jesus and his disciples, all gathered around and whatnot. But yeah, so I did see that as just them being knowledgeable of they wear this blackness to empower themselves, to fuel themselves. They are highly insecure about the genetics that they possess, and hence why they have to modify themselves and associate our existence with the material things that they create, such as clothing, shoes. Central Park 5. When I saw the opening, I immediately knew that it was going to be a interesting episode, because that's exactly what these companies do. They use the extermination of Black people as a way to make billions of dollars, a year.
Did y'all notice the black male holding a banana in the picnic scene and the image right here? Did you notice he was holding a banana?
I didn't
Now
notice.
do.
I didn't notice that.
Now I do. I did not notice that. That was the first time, third time, because just thinking, you had to point this out. This is how racist men and racist women are masters of hiding things in plain sight. I've seen this image like a number of times now, and it took it being pointed out to me to see it. And this is largely how the system of white supremacy works. It's so refined, it's so in our faces 24/7 that we sometimes we need someone to point it out for us, because no, I did not notice that. And wow.
And the white woman, she's face down with her eyes closed, like as if like she was in the middle of an orgy or something. I don't know. Her face.
He looks like sleep. The black man with a banana looks sleep. It looks like a.
Was anybody able to decode the part where the designer said, get this, talking about the white model, get her a cigarette, she's freezing. Was anybody able to decode that? Anybody
Get
catch that?
her a cigarette.
She's freezing. Yeah. Do you remember that part?
No, I don't. I can't recall it, but just decoding those combination of words. The cigarette is a white phallic symbol, and the white phallic provides one heat, comfort. The white phallic providing one comfort, and then that pairing that with the anti-sex black male, and that is the ultimate, drive for comfort going into the anti-sex realm. But I may just be, rambling N-word.
Anybody know who wrote this?
I didn't watch the credits. Actually, I didn't even have credits on the one I watched, so I don't know who wrote the episode. I suspect it was Donald Glover and his brother Stephen Glover, I believe, but I could be.
No, it wasn't.
Who wrote it?
Alex Oro. I don't know. I saw that.
Yeah. The person that directed it also wrote it. So.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's why I didn't catch it. Okay, because I was looking for who wrote it. Say it again.
Ibra Ike. He's Nigerian. Hence
the Nigerian
Darius
king.
role.
Yep.
Oh, I know what Nigerian wrote it, because there's these things.
And I've heard there's quite an anti-sex situation going on in Nigeria as well, so-called Nigeria, if such a place ever existed.
Yeah, it's spelled Ibra, and then his last name is Ake.
Yeah,
I think it's
I'm trying to get it on IMDb, but maybe experiencing some sabotage because it's not loading up.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention since we're talking about like not being Nigerian and being classified as Nigerian, whatever that means in the system, race and white supremacy, the hyper violent actions of the white people, like the white lady who bought out the black business and stole their entire brand in a matter of like a few days, it looks like. And that just shows gentrification. I actually live in London, so I see this happening. Whenever I leave my house, I just see racist white people doing their best to mistreat those around them. And it was interesting when Darius throws away the food, and a white lady runs past him and tells him, "You should recycle that." And that's just symbolic of, I'm telling you what to do. Was your neighborhood? You thought it was, but we're here now. And my dog is here too, so recycle so my dog can have clean air and clean planet. Very symbolic episode, and I'm not surprised a Nigerian wrote it.
Yeah, I wrote down help a white person, no. And then if you actually watch her, she is studying everything. What are they eating? Like even she's pull out the Shazam app just to hear what the music was being played. So I mean, she was studying everything. Again, don't have white people around you. Don't have white friends. Don't have white friends. Yeah,
The one
I
who
caught that
asked the
the second time.
question, the one who asks questions is in control. Notice she asked a lot of questions, a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wrote that down too. I wrote she was learning that entire episode, or that interaction. This is also the second time, I believe, in this season where there's been a scene with Darius and a white female. I think the first one was, the white female was crying.
Asian.
Yeah,
She was
she was
Asian.
Asian, but then the white female was the one that approached him, like, talking to him about the incident, like, oh, that was horrible. How could she do that to you? Blah blah blah. And now this scene, and I think in both episodes, like they touched his knee, like they touched him on the knee and stuff. That's something that stood out for me instantly when she did it on this episode. But it seems like for Darius obviously is like the less, I guess, least intelligent of everyone, or portrayed to be the least intelligent. And yet he's always being taken advantage of by these white females. I mean, everybody's being taken advantage of on this show, but it just seems that Darius, because of how like unintelligent or confused he is, he's constantly being like targeted.
Don't you feel like too, like the way they write the show, he's not even like human. Like he seems like an android or something. The way he's like so monotone and just kind of repeats these lines, but it like he has no emotions to anything, doesn't react to anything. And he's
So
also like what is impotent.
He,
It's very
are,
weak. Like,
are you talking about Darius?
yeah, he's the
yeah.
ultimate victim.
Yeah,
He's
I
he's
agree.
the
I
ultimate
agree.
like victim. He definitely has
Yeah.
been victimized to a high degree, and this episode just but via the fact like what Miss Ash just mentioned, how he's presented to be very just robotic, and the way he exists, and very monotone, and he does not have, robots don't have genitals, can't procreate, he can't procreate, he doesn't have genitals. Remember, they were crushed by black people in so-called Nigeria. And I don't know if anyone caught this, but I thought it was hilariously in your face. Black people are not people, and some white supremacy, we are robots, we are food, we are servants. But
Oh yeah.
anybody see black people are food? The Darius, he's literally a food item on,
Yeah.
on
He's top of the list too. Top of the list.
exactly, top of the list. And this is delectable Negro.
And
Go ahead.
Yeah.
there's at the this is when Ash said animalistic and non-human, it reminded me of the commercial that they made, how the white people and the brown people, anyone who's not black, is allowed to say we are all from the hood, we all share a hood or whatever. But the black males said things that were incoherent, and you cannot understand what they were saying when they were talking about the black and white advert.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
they were like shirtless, holding money. Everyone else has clothes on, and they look kind of poised in a way, and the black people are just bags of money, gold teeth, not speaking just gibberish, just complete gibberish. And of course, they're at the bottom, sitting down while everyone's lining up and like behind them, standing over them. Yeah, the most pitiful at the bottom, and not allowed to speak either. I thought that was very hilarious. When you understand the programming, you could kind of see how they're just really poking fun because every single person in the background spoke the line. We're all from some hood, but the dark skinned black male right here did not say that. He only spoke in non-coherent lines.
And he had money to his ear.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was a person at the top. It's a black person with the whitest skin for some reason. Blonde hair.
Albino.
Yep, albino, so called.
With the last scene that you're talking about with Darius and the food truck, I thought that was interesting. I felt like it was making fun of Black people and kind of the attachments that they have to food, because I mean a lot of things have happened to Darius, and it seemed like he drew the line at like the dish that she made. That was it for him. I heard cheesy jollof, and that was really tough to hear. But it seemed like Darius draws the line at food, and that seems to be the case for many Black people. I think many Black people will let many victims. I could be in error, but I suspect that many victims will let white people do whatever they want on the planet, but they cannot touch their food. They cannot claim that they make better food than them, and white people cannot claim that they make awesome dishes. But so I thought that was interesting. It just seemed like I said, Darius draws the line at food. The peach. I can't remember. She said the peach reduction and chunks. I don't even know what that is. But he, after he heard that, he left. I don't even think he was bothered by the fact that she was making like the whole Nigel Bowl thing, or the fact that he was a item on the menu. But the fact that it was the food she was making. So I don't know, that seemed interesting to me.
And that allows me to conjure these thoughts of, wow, non-white people, we don't care that we're on the menu, but we care about like, some of the things that we make on the menu are taken away or changed because white people are doing so. Interesting.
And also notice that a so-called Chinese person is preparing the food to her right.
I saw that. I was wondering if he's Chinese or not, but tragic arrangement.
Or Asian or something
Asian.
of that. Yeah. I want to go back a little bit to the meeting that the non-white people were having, and the white people were in the background. So every time white people practice racism and white supremacy, like so-called, when I mean so-called, I mean like they're doing it actually with the keychain and the shirt and King of the Jungle and all those things, right? Every time that happens, non-white people will be like, oh well, why don't they have non-white people? Why don't they have Black people on the board so that they don't do things like this? Like, so they don't practice racism, whatever. Get some ideas from Black people, and that will prevent them from doing these things. And every single time I think of a setting just like this, where Black people are there and they're talking, right? And they're having ideas. And then there's a white person background like, nah, no, yes. Like, we don't understand that. We don't understand that white people are still pulling the strings, that they are in control in these situations. And that's why I like the fact that Donald Glover put this scene in it, and that we could break it down, because
Yeah. When I can't think of the anti-sexual's name again. But pretty much he said "Raisin in the Sun" and have Julia Roberts in it. That made me think of last year somebody bringing up Julia Roberts playing Harriet Tubman. So.
And remember, there was a joke about her possibly playing Harriet Tubman.
And even when I say Khalil's name real fast, it sounds like I'm
There you
saying
go.
kill him. It sounds like I'm saying kill him, Khalil.
Oh, geez.
Don't think that's by mistake. Don't none the lighting, their clothes, none of this is by mistake. None of it. So
Yeah, black female in a wheelchair singing so-called Negro spiritual at the meeting, and then you got Boucher. That's the guy that was doing all of the clothing, saying that he was the least prejudiced at the actual meeting. Like, come on, like you a white person, man. Like, it's no way that you're the least prejudiced up there. So like,
and notice how they go from racism or practicing racism to prejudice. Like I don't know where'd they get that from. Yeah, this whole thing was a farce. Oh, and
Yeah,
notice
Yeah.
the Paperboy shirt, it said not fake. In the back it said not, and in the front it said fake.
Yes,
I-
very, very much intentional.
Yeah.
Helen reminded me of a thought I had about what was it? It's gonna come back to me. I'm gonna mute myself until I can remember.
Yeah, I would please. I'm gonna use the time to remind folks to please share this broadcast on your social media profiles if possible. Please.
Oh yeah,
share.
all right.
Hmm?
Yeah, please share your socials, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you got, please. I kill him, the name, definitely intentional. I didn't get that anagram like vocal sounds from the name, but the Nickel Treat by Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon used to have a thing. I never saw it, it's before my time, but it's mentioned for a reason. I'm pretty sure it's an actual thing. But it's just it sounds like, obviously it sounds like nigger treat or nigger or nigger treat, whatever you want to say it. But
Yeah.
they
Let's
use
say-
they
yeah,
use the combination of words to produce the word nigger, to produce the programming,
All right, let's see what Nick or Tree sounds, how it sounds when we say it really fast. Okay. Nigger tree, nigger tree, nigger tree, nigger tree, nigger tree, nigger tree, nigger tree. It sounds like nigger. Nigger tree. All right, it sounds like nigger to me, but racism in plain sight, race code war. Let's just shout out to race code war. Without that, I would not understand like word associations or how you could say something faster and you could produce a sound. So this is white people clowning us while we are ignorant to it.
and also even when Earn and her name is B, I think. V, yeah, him
Vanessa?
when Vanessa, when he's telling her about it, it sounds like, when he's saying it still sounds like nigger treat.
It's at the end.
Yeah, it's like the final scene.
Something very interesting about the end, towards the end, like this scene right here. So when they're about to kiss, Ern says to Vanessa, like, did you steal the bag? I mean, did you steal the wig? And I'm thinking, Van is acting very interesting. I don't know what's going on with her. And I'm thinking, you know what? Remember some episodes back when she went to Germany, when they went to Germany or whatever, and I think she talks about like being around white people. And I'm like, oh, Ern knows that she's been around white people and she's picked up a lot of their habits. So it could be possible that she stole the wig. Oh, that's why he said that. That's what came to mind when he asked that question. What do y'all think?
I think, hey, when you're in a system of white supremacy, you are going to behave like a white person, like a racist, like a person who, thinks stealing, harming people, deception is okay. So makes a lot of sense.
That scene reminded me of an incident I had. A white lady accosted me at a furniture shop that I was there. I was there picking up furniture to be used as props for a movie I was making, and I had permission from the store owner or whoever, or whatever white person in charge, leave my bike like next to the door. And this white lady, walks in the store and she wants this couch and she wants the bike moved like immediately. And instead of asking me, she just starts like when I tell them I'll move it like after I'm done. She just completely turns into a yelling white supremacist, like yelling, name calling, and I'm used to this, and I'm not very codified, but it doesn't bother me. It doesn't. I just tell the lady, "Hey, you're being very racist, and I feel like you're attempting to dehumanize me by yelling at me. You're not treating me like a human being." And then she's like completely flabbergasted that I'm reacting in this way, and it makes her rage even more. So I'm asked by the store, of course, the white people all unify, and they have me get my bike, and I tell them I'm gonna leave. My Asian production designer will be staying, and she will be handling the affairs. Very racist experience. Reminded me of the scene where Van is accused by the random white lady, because it always is just a random white supremacist. It doesn't matter how they look. If they have white skin, then they could easily snap and target you and mistreat you and accuse you and attempt to actually ruin whatever you're doing. And they have the power to ruin your entire life in a matter of seconds.
Existence, in this system, white people.
And notice she had blonde hair.
Exactly. Yep. They're the most powerful white woman.
Yeah.
The
lady.
Yeah.
The white lady in my experience was a blonde-haired white female.
Yeah. But
Yeah, it's good that you can. Hi, good afternoon, everyone over there. Yeah, Mary here. I just wanted to say that Tracian, you speaking up on your experiences in the UK is just it's good. It's very enlightening because you have that outside perspective, whereas me, who has lived with it kind of all my life, you wake up to it in a sense that you just first pick it up as authority. Like, oh, you don't leave that there, you don't put that there, you don't ride on this side. The countless amount of times that I have been told what direction I should be in, I'm on the wrong side of this, like I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going, or being told go that way, and it's always a white male. In my instance, as a Black woman, maybe for Black males, it's white women that would be their natural form of whom would try to authoritize any situation. Even yesterday, I was walking just walking home, a single person on the street, and there's a group of 5 white males and maybe 2 females. They're just kind of grouped up, looks like they're finished college or something, or uni. And I'm just walking straight, and they walk, and I'm just expecting it. But so I just keep walking direct. And I've hold my hand out as if almost like a triangle, because I always do that to part ways. If you live in London or you know the hustle and bustle, you just know how to move and maneuver. So I've done that in a sense to let me go through, and they stand right in front of me, and I go, oh, of course. And then they go, just move around us. And I go, no, you, and I swore, I was like, you effing move. And it was so annoying because it took me out of character, and I was really, I had to go find a moment of peace, but that is the normal interaction of, why would I move for you? We're the entitled ones. You move or do anything extra for us. And I'm always in the scenario where I'm always telling myself, is this something that they will do? No, okay, then. Or if you have your phone out, I have my phone out at work. You cannot now micromanage me and tell me to put my phone away. This is something that I experience on the daily. And I really appreciate Donald Glover for highlighting that. He definitely did his research, because that is the natural reaction. And I thought it was amazing in that scene as well, because he's just experienced a high level of gentrification occurring, shutting down a niche restaurant, in fact, that he had to drive across town to get to. And it's almost a form of like infiltration. So she's asking all these questions, and then as soon as they're gone, he's come back and the place is shut down. She even mentions, I never got in contact with her. Therefore, she always had the intention of taking the space or in reinventing the idea of what they're doing here and profiting off it and giving them absolutely nothing in the scene. So yeah, that was a bravo. And then immediately after that, you're micromanaged by somebody who's who's trying to uphold the law, but in every single way you break the law, and everybody feels the psychosocial effects. And I appreciated that scene. This whole episode was just, I think I mentioned the word, it was powerful programming. Like this is powerful programming, because you have no choice but to see it for what it is. And yes, fantastic.
No, that is incorrect. This is not powerful programming unless you're talking about continuing the confusion.
In my opinion, thank
you. I don't think this is showing people what racism, white supremacy is and how it works. I don't know if this episode is doing that, but I understand where you were coming from.
The reason why I say that, I know I wouldn't normally call anything powerful programming, but I mean, there's nothing like it in any form of representation in television. The fact that you had both characters, they mention, I think in the scene where, if we go back to where they're discussing, or you let's say it together, they're gonna kill us, like that scene there, usually that's the furthest it gets, but the fact that it was taken all the way further, I think is unique to this show, and that's why we need more like this.
Yeah, shout out. I'm just gonna quickly say the spook who sat by the door. If you're listening, watch that film, read the book. Try to do it before. Try to do that before the highly niggerized Amazon TV show or whatever TV show comes out, where they will completely destroy the actual constructive information that is in those books and in that film. That film was banned for 30 plus years when it was released. Very, very interesting film. If you are a non-white Black person, it should be in your brain computer, because this episode is continuing the theme. We are in war. We are prisoners of war, and we are extremely victimized people on planet Earth, and we are not allowed to live. We're in captivity. So I appreciate them verbally speaking the spook who sat by the door, because it's great film, I believe.
I agree.
I'm gonna decode this scene really quickly and then comment on what was said by Miss Mary and Mr. Sir. This scene, I recall Darius, he's talking about non-white food, Black food in particular, and he mentions it and he associates it with being scammed, being harmed and mistreated and deception. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is race Cold War moment and racism and white supremacy. You cannot associate Black food with anything positive, because we know we can't have people liking Black people in any way, shape, or form, especially through that significant connection of consuming food, especially authentic food that has been not so poisoned, such as most foods have been. But I thought that was really, really interesting. And this is scene here is very, very significant, because it shows how the racist woman and the racist man have become, just masters of infiltrating, through questions, through, you don't even know why they're asking questions. Next thing you know, they have an outpost, next to you. In this case, it was a food truck. But yeah, she did her interrogation, she did her intel, her reconnaissance, and she did her work. And now she has established another racist settlement or something along those lines. Took over a Black area, conquered a Black restaurant, conquered Black people, pushed them out. While she did it in a very refined way, under the guise of, hey, I'm giving you money, and now you have to go away. It's still conquering, it's still racism, white supremacy in effect. And in regards to what Miss Mary said, it's very interesting that they mentioned they gonna kill you when they were talking about Martin Luther King and spook who said by the door. I just chalked that up to zero-ristic thinking. When you think, attempting to solve the race problem or help Black people is not worth the effort because you think something bad is going to happen. Very, very possible, of course, something bad is going to happen because that is the design. But just talking about it in that manner, just and who is they, by the way? They said they're going to kill you. They didn't say racist men, racist women, or white people are going to kill you. So that was also interesting. They is white people, racist man and racist woman.
Yeah, that kind of was reinforced throughout the episode.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. Thank you.
Yeah, it starts off by saying, ultimately those people tried to help Black people. They died, didn't get anything done. And then throughout the episode, the strong themes of name calling coons was strong throughout the episode, and just showing you that, Black people don't want to help Black people. Black people don't want to do anything for Black people. Black people aren't looking out for themselves because as I think looking at this, remembering Black fear, right, from the ISIS papers, the fact that all of the Black people who have tried to produce something constructive for Black people or produce a system of justice have all been killed in front of Black people. And we're constantly being showed these images and taught about it to every day, mostly in schools. It reinforces it, and it just reminds people that Black people aren't going to do anything for you. That was another, like I said, the huge theme for me in this episode was white people are ignorant about racism, and Black people are the main problem as to why racism exists.
Really, you got the theme that white people are confused after they took Paperboy's what is it, like, don't get back to your hood, and then reinvented it and made it like I thought that was showing how cunning they are, especially the part, and then the lady who made the what is that, the Niger food, that was showing to me how much more clever they are, and how all the best that Black people can do right now is just use them for their own individual gain, i.e. like tickets to see a show. He didn't even want his own play made. He just wanted money to watch something. I it's just so interesting.
Yeah, I still feel like the theme was that white people are ignorant. Even after I agree with you, it shows that they're cunning and whatnot. But even from kind of when you think about the opening with the whole jersey, it promotes that white people are ignorant. Like that, these white people had no idea what they were doing.
They had 2 numbers up there. They didn't have to use that number 5. They had a number 1 up there too. Quaku, ignorant white people are not ignorant.
I'm not saying white people are ignorant. I'm saying that's what's promoting.
But I know you weren't saying that, but the way you arranged your combination of words, it definitely sounded like you were saying that. That's why I would encourage us to be very.
Because even with
you're trying to say that they're promoting that white people are ignorant, not that they really are, that they're promoting it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
I don't even 5. They're like, oh, this is for our anniversary. That's what they said. That was the justification for putting the 5 on it. I don't know if anybody caught that.
Yeah, I caught that, but I think this is all intentional. I think the 5-year anniversary is something that they use to, codify their lie, and to me, what's the evidence I would use to back that up is how they had already, it looks like they already knew who they were going to use to, counter the plan, and also we're doing the panel. They're all like they immediately use the Black people as mouthpieces, and then they get Khalil to say that racism is going to end in 2 years from now. That racism will be done without mentioning any way for it to be constructively removed. And then they're all like, if you look at the body language and how they're like surveying their headpieces. They know exactly what they're doing, and they were not ignorant in making this shirt. They knew there were going to be controversy, and this is how these actual white supremacist fashion companies do. They do these for the publicity because they know the dominant theme is anti-blackness. They know that most people on planet Earth have been programmed to hate, despise, and like loathe the blackness and black people in general. So if they make fun of black people publicly, they'll make way more money. If they humiliate black people on their slogans, they'll make way more money. That's proven, and this episode is showing that in a way as well, I believe. But there is no ignorance in any of their fashion design. That's all intentional, I believe. That's my theory, and that's what I have thought to be true for all fashion conglomerates since the beginning of time. I believe it's always been, for the betterment and refinement of being superior to black people and being viewed as such, suits and whatnot. It's all very by design, I believe.
There was a moment when they were sitting down and they were playing a Nigerian movie.
Ms. B, you sound a little far from your mic.
Oh, there's a moment in the show where they were playing a Nigerian movie and the black female came in a white, it looked like a white wedding gown, and how the people in the house were laughing at her. And that just goes to show, to me, this is how I took it. So that just goes to show how far reaching, how racism, white supremacy, how it's global, that it's even touched Nigerian, aka non-white black people, that black female. I mean, to think that you're going to get married in a white gown, and notice that it looked like her fiance was sitting down playing some type of chess game or whatever, and they all were laughing. And I'm like, yeah, white people are laughing at us. But of course, in the movie, they had non-white people laugh. I don't know, did y'all catch the Nigerian movie, and did y'all see any message in that? Yeah, this part.
I just see a bunch of victims laughing at another victim, and she's in a white dress. So I would need some more context, but I think there's definitely some symbolism of all the victims laughing at the other victim.
Yeah, Miss B, your analysis allows me to greater analyze this scene, because I didn't think much of it. I really didn't. I just saw victims of racism laughing and mistreating one another. But yeah, this is the far-reaching effect of racist man and racist woman and their system of white supremacy. We have victims globally, not just dark-skinned victims, but victims with those what have been described as slanted eyes across the planet. Practicing these racist customs. Hey, I'm gonna get this white dress. I'm gonna call myself a wife. I'm gonna get a husband, and we're gonna live happily ever after. They have given us these silly ideas and led us to believe that we can be husband and wives when that's not the case at all. I would encourage everyone to go to producejustice.com to acquire a copy of the code book to understand why that is not the case. But yeah, it's really tragic. And again, to add a little race code war into it, when the whiteness, the white dress symbolizing purity, and something perfect, that is certainly not the case when regarding anyone on the planet. There's no such thing as a pure, perfect person on a planet dominated by a racist man and racist woman. But yeah, very telling, and that they're mentioning they're playing some sort of chess game, some sort of game that requires a lot of thinking, mental capacity, I'm sure, but we won't use that mental capacity to think about the things we're doing or the system of white supremacy globally. This is our problem.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you'd mentioned as well that they're playing chess, and that while they're laughing, it's almost as if, well, for me, the way I decoded that is that they play the game of chess, so they understand the rules, and here is this Black female trying to aspire to a level of, purity, or wanting to be married, everything that you had just mentioned there, and they're laughing at her. So as in to say that part that doesn't work here, silly, that's silly. So it's almost like the people with the chess know the rules. So yeah, it kind of, what's the word, validates that what they're doing is correct in a sense. So them laughing at her is showing her how silly she is for wanting that or trying to aspire to that.
And
Yeah.
notice how the white woman, after watching this whole scene, she's like, "Is this Hamlet? Ain't no way in heck you thought that was."
Yeah, and that's Genevieve as well. She's actually a very famous Nollywood actress. So if anybody who watches Nollywood movies that saw that would recognize that instantly. And one of like my reactions as well, someone who has seen Nollywood movies since a child, and she's the Nollywood actress, I would say. So in that sense, one of the top 3-5, I would say. So in that sense, them laughing at her is even more of a, I would say, message in a sense.
Yeah, I agree. There's no way they thought that was Hamlet. That is simply just filling the air with lightness. Hey, this is not it's a lot of culture in here. It's a lot of Black people in here. Don't forget about Hamlet. Don't forget about my stuff. And then after she says that about Hamlet, she completely goes into infiltration mode where she doesn't give 1 ounce of a crud of what Darius is saying. She doesn't care about anything he's saying anymore. She is studying this place and she is devising a plan to take it over and make a large profit out of it in the long run.
But, sorry, did I cut you off?
No, I'm good. No, I'm good.
So that's what I was talking about. So to like the average viewer, she just seems like she's really liking the movie. She's enjoying the food, liking the atmosphere. Not to, but to us counter racists, we see her as she's infiltrated. So she's seen something she likes and she is going to recreate it and make a business idea out of it. To many people, they don't. The white people are constantly being associated with this, with that they don't know, that they're ignorant, that when they are doing this, what you call cultural appropriation, that they're not aware of it, they just really liked it. And that's what she's displaying it. That's why I say that the episode was kind of, for me, promoting that white people are ignorant about racism. She put this woman out of business. I don't know if the woman wanted that or not, but in this scene, she's being promoted.
She bought it.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I said allegedly she bought it.
Yeah, allegedly that's what she did. Sorry, that's what she said she did.
History is always written by the victors, so there's no way to prove that or anything.
Yeah, and why would the windows be boarded up? It's not like that like someone has to probably break the windows, open the lock on the door or something, because it's very suspicious, highly suspect.
She was even talking about how her husband wanted a brick and mortar, but the place is boarded up and they're in a food truck. I think it's interesting. I feel like there's definitely some deception. I mean, this whole scene was full of deception, but
she probably got her on some health code violation and just got the place closed and never intended to buy that place.
That seems extremely accurate. Definitely implied.
Question for the group: was anybody?
Wait 1 second. Sorry, Helen. Gotta shut down, because I think the scene where the woman is offering bringing your own food, but cook it in the back for you. That's definitely some type of health violation that she probably reported on. I agree. They report and observe and report. Sorry to cut you off, Helen, but I wanted to insert that before we move to a different topic. But I do believe she sabotaged this woman's establishment quite easily too.
Okay, staying on the same topic. Notice the part where when the white woman said, "Oh, I love her," talking about Mimi. Remember that part? To go off
Yeah.
a
Wait,
little
wait, hold
bit.
on. Should I read love from the word guide? Because we really gotta, understand what this love
Read it.
means.
Read it.
Yeah, yeah, because I kind of hate this word these days. Because it has
White
caused a
people
lot of
around us
damage
and
to.
all the music, all the old R&B, maybe today too. Oh, love, love, love. Yes.
Yes, yes. So I'm in the word guide. I found love 211 from a compensatory counter racist codified word guide. You can acquire this text from producejustice.com. So it says love. Use this word with caution. Do not use this word to describe any condition that now exists between the people of the known universe. Instead, use terms like affection, affectionate, caring, concern, considerate, cooperative, helpful, supportive, etc., to apply to speech and action between persons, creature, and or things that produce a constructive result. Do not use the word love to apply to such speech or action. When others use the word love, ask for a detailed explanation that you can easily understand. When people say that they love someone or that someone loves them, it is correct to ask those people to explain exactly and in detail what they mean. Ask questions. Questions. Why is the word love used to apply to circumstances where people are either mistreating each other or where people are deliberately not trying to help people who need help the most? Can there be love where there is no justice? Can love exist in the absence of correctness? How exactly does one person prove his or her love for another person? What is the exact test? Which persons are so called worthy of love? When? How many? Under what conditions? Is it correct for a person to love everybody? If so, how should that love be expressed? What exactly are the ways to express love for a person in each and every area of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war/counter war? What exactly is love? How exactly does a person prove that he or she loves another person? Is romance the same as love? What exactly is the difference between love and friendship? Is friendship a part of love? And if it is, how is friendship expressed during a love relationship? Is it correct for a person to love every person? Is it correct for a person to do harm to any person that he or she loves? Is it correct for a person to do harm to any person that he or she does not love? Can love produce mistreatment? Can love exist without justice? Is it ever correct to express love for a person by killing that person? When? For what reason? And or what condition? Is love conditional? If so, what does that mean? Is love so-called limited or unlimited? Are there different degrees of love? If so, how many degrees does love require in order to qualify as love? Is it correct for a person to love all persons equally? If it is correct, how must this love be shown, expressed, practiced? Why is sexual intercourse sometimes called making love? Is it correct to associate acts of sexual intercourse and or sexual play as a test of the existence or of the non-existence of love? Is it correct to regard sexual intercourse or to regard the absence of sexual intercourse as being proof or non-proof of the existence of love? The quite a ginormous definition of love, and necessary because it says term has been used to sabotage and destroy and confuse a large number of people. And he also has a definition for love making. So I would definitely encourage folks who probably can't even get the full understanding from me reading it. They may have to read it themselves. So go to producejustice.com, order your copy of the United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept textbook workbook for victims of racism and white supremacy, and also order your word guide where I ordered this. Where I read this definition from. I'm sure you can spare and invest a few nickels in yourself and improving your thought, speech, and behavior while under the system of white supremacy, so that you may, in your existence, work to solve the race problem once and for all. And I gotta need my line. Miss B.
Question for the group. Was anybody able to decode when Darius put the white shoestring around his head in the beginning of the show?
I saw that a second time around.
No, that was the scene where he was going to talk to the white woman.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Anybody able to decode that? What do y'all think that means? Yeah, right there. Yeah. Yep. What do y'all think that means?
I've seen his attire always like eunuch based ever since Mr. Evolutionist from Justice has made that analysis. So I just see as his attire, he is a eunuch, not a threat to the system of white supremacy, a person who would rather make it just not a threat to race and white supremacy. But again, I am probably missing the symbolism in this scene and what this white shoestring represents.
Are there ever any scenes where Darius interacts with I feel like this whole season he's only interacted with white people, except for like the people, like the main characters. It's almost like he's like a white liaison or something, like a middle.
Last year he was like because matter of fact the guy that directed and wrote this episode, he also wrote Champagne Poppy, which was like the 7th episode of season 2. And there's like a couple scenes where Darius is talking to a non-white black female. But when Vanessa brought up him saying that we're in a simulation, that was also from that episode, from the Champagne Poppy episode, where he was talking to the black female and saying that we're in a simulation. So again, they're giving him weird lines to say throughout the whole show. So yeah.
The first episode, he was interacting with that non-white, non-black female. But I think calling Darius a liaison for white people would be accurate. In most episodes, he is the one that's mostly doing the interacting with white people. Maybe that's why they perceive him to be like so confused and like a robot. I suspect, they just kind of make him look like an idiot, but I think also the characteristics of an android is accurate. Also, a lot of confusion.
Darius is definitely the most confused of the black males that we are taking this journey through victimization with. Indeed. Mr. Perry, were you going to chime in?
I'm sorry, man. I just got in. I'm trying to do some technical stuff.
No worries. No worries. All right, so skimming through, I still haven't even got through half of my notes from this episode. So I recall Alfred Paperboy saying something along the lines that he shot niggas, and this was in response to Donald Glover's saying that, are you like, what are the streets gonna think? You know, like what are the streets gonna think about you doing this fashion thing? And then he says, you know, I've shot niggas. I decoded that as I've killed niggers, and I don't care what niggers think of me, you know, because you know I killed them, you know, and you know, I was like, oh wow, that's, you know, that's pretty logical. You know, we're not supposed to really care about what Black people think, and we're supposed to, you know, easily you know, understand that, yeah, Black people are going to be killed 24/7 constantly by white people and by a couple of non-white people. So yeah, that's why I decode that as. I'm sure other folks caught that, but just like the nonchalantness of it, just how easily, you know, I've shot niggas. It's the same nonchalant attitude that we can hear in Area 3 Entertainment and so-called a lot of hip hop / rap music of you know, just Black males and non-white people singing and dancing about killing one another.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can be heard.
So yeah, I want to contribute on that thought because another undertone I caught under that scene with the, you know, I kill niggas is, you
Wait,
know,
you have a little echo. Well, not echo, but it sounds very
let me fix that real quick.
yeah, it sounds good now. Sounds good now.
Okay. Well, I was just saying, like, when we attribute ourselves for killing niggas, not only, you know, what you said, but it almost like attributes to, like, you know, I'm cool type of thing. You know, I'm cool because, you know, no matter what I do, this fashion, this and that, I kill niggas, and niggas still kill each other. It's cool type of thing too. You know.
Yeah, many of the artists who are being racially showcased have made their livings and their careers off of being promoting killing, maiming other victims of racism, other Black people. I suspect that Paperboy is no different. So for him to say that, I think, you know, he's you know, doing exactly what his programming is suggests that he does, is, you know, kill Black people and don't feel bad about it.
Yeah,
That's why I wrote
exactly.
down anti-blackness. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a lot of anti-black.
it reminds me of the real life scenario involving the baby, where he shot a non-white Black male at Walmart, I believe, and murdered him, and he enjoys a large amount of success. Well, not success, you know, but in his mind, he probably perceives it to be a success as he's racially showcased as very popular rapper, a very popular gangster rapper, known for killing someone, allowed to be famous, allowed to have access to large amounts of money, allowed to feed millions of people his music and his ideas and his words. Very insane system we're living in, and that was another example. Like when I heard that line, I just had to burst out in laughter because it was just so accurate of what's actually happening and the mindset that these individuals have.
Yeah.
That been given.
That was one of the things I said earlier. I tend to laugh at the things that are most victimizing about people. That was one of those things that I laughed at, you know, because that is something I know I shouldn't be laughing at and is not funny, but due to my conditioning and my programming, you know, it's hilarious to talk about how Black people are dying. I think, you know, I'm not saying it's just one of those things.
Yeah, and just to echo what Mr. Perry said, in this system, it is very so-called cool to kill niggers, to kill Black people, as we all have been trained globally. We have been trained this a very long time ago.
And I'm sorry to interrupt again, but
no. Perry, Mr. Perry, definitely not interrupting at all. Please go ahead.
So yeah, I was on Twitter yesterday, and it came recently some news that I think the baby shot somebody else, but he actually spared their life this time instead of actually killing them. And so, like, you know, a lot of the feedback in the comments were like, oh, he's gonna if you actually spare somebody's life or a nigga's life, you can live with actually getting sleep type of thing instead of fully killing them. And this is like other Black people confirming with the action also. And there's many people going towards the baby side as far as like, oh, you don't want to try him because he definitely would kill you type of thing. And then with his lyrics and then just the type of portrait his image is like they got the whole community hit to like confirm when no matter what he does because he killed him. So he definitely would kill him. And it's just baffling to still be like, I mean, I enjoy hip hop, but like to how, the new generation is coming like under rap with the violence and then, the glorifying killing each other even more. And then, when we thought the love was going to be it's just kind of scary because, life is not even being, life is not deemed as valuable anymore.
Oh, Mr. Perry, you said something very important. All right. So life, non-white people, especially Black people, we are not allowed to live. At best, we are existing. So no, what we've learned from Race Code War, Urugu, the ISIS Papers, the Code Book by Neely Fuller Jr., The Delectable Negro, the Man Not, is that non-white people classified as Black do not have a life. There's no value to our existence with what we have currently on this planet and existence. What does have value though is white babies, white children, white women, and white men, because we are in a system of racism, white supremacy. So yeah, like the attitudes that you are observing, very common, very expected. This is the training. This is the training that white people who practice racism pump out 24/7 in all of their areas of people activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. They're conducting a war against us in all of these areas 24/7. Mr. Ted.
Yeah, it remind me of just more recent confirmations. Ed Buck, serial killer politician, actual, rapist, drug dealer, white affluent politician, sentenced to what, 30 years for killing multiple Black males. I'm not sure if he'll serve out his entire sentence, or if they'll kill him, quote unquote, remove him from the light and allow him to live quietly on the farm somewhere. I'm not sure what they do. Yeah. Oh yeah, or he could just be a white sacrifice. But this person definitely is a true Urugu, very, very dedicated to the cause. What he was doing was attracting Black males and participating with them in homosexual, anti-sexual behavior, giving them meth, crack, heroin, ecstasy, all types of drugs, and then killing them, basically overdosing them on these drugs and allowing them to have access to his wealth in exchange for their lives. And very, very sick system we're living in. The baby shooting people, Ed Buck, being an active serial killer for years, having law enforcement agencies know about it. Only reason why he's incarcerated now is because of social justice warriors. I think one of the guys' name is Tyreek something. I don't know most people's names or anything like that. But it just reminds me of stuff. He reminds me of the main guy in this episode, Ed Buck. And also during his sentencing, they're very lenient with white people. White people are always treated, fairly. Meaning they're treated as you treat white people with courtesy. So during the sentencing, the judge is talking about all the good things he did, code word good, the white things that he's done. That could be, he's killed a lot of black people for us. Come on, cut him some slack. You remember all the laws and all the bills he signed, but she's really talking about, he's working for us. Like, if you really get serious, and if you are talking about these serious Yurugu, they are all about killing us as quickly and as effectively as possible. And they're gonna have fun with it. Hey, I'll kill you while you're on acid. Have a trippy time while you die. That's a buck for you.
Thank you, Mr. Sick. But definitely a racist white supremacist that all victims of racism, white supremacy should know about, cut from the same cloth. And that's code for, he's white, just like Jeffrey Dahmer, just like Dominique. I can't recall his other names, but a large catalog of racist men and racist women who have, got off on the ultimate destruction of Black people, whether it's through raping them. What did Ed Buck say? He said he liked to drug them to the point where they were they didn't know where they were, and he liked to have his fun with them. What was Jeffrey Dahmer trying to do? He's trying to make non-white zombies that he could do whatever he wanted with them. So that is the ultimate goal of racism, white supremacy, is for racist men and racist women. Again, these people can only be white. Racist men and racist women, they want their subjects to just be at their total will, in all areas of people activity. Indeed. That's another thing from the episode was that the Tommy Hilfiger thing was really annoying to hear such just stupidity uttered from I'm sure that all the writers behind the show, they know that Tommy Hilfiger is a white person. Yeah, they know Tommy Hilfiger is a white person. I'm sure they know about that. But why do we hear the confusion of them joking about him being a non-white person? Even though Tommy Hilfiger is alleged to have said something along the lines that, hey, if I knew niggas weren't gonna wear my clothes, I wouldn't have made them. I didn't make my clothes for monkeys. I didn't make my clothes for Black people. He allegedly said something like this on Oprah. You could do your own research to find out if it's true or false. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's evident that we are in a system of racism and white supremacy, because why are they trying to all deception is incorrect. Why are they trying to promote any sort of deception that Tommy Hilfiger was not a white person? It's really bizarre.
05.
Mm-hmm.
That article I had posted in the WhatsApp, I think his actual quote is in that article. You would just have to scroll down to the I believe it's the Tommy Hilfiger part, because I think it's like number 5 or number 6, but pretty much I think they actually put his actual quote from the Oprah appearance when he was on there.
Let me attempt to get it up again. Yeah, just so much stuff has been posted in the WhatsApp since then. I can't see it.
Yeah, you would have to just scroll up. That's all. It's like the first one I had posted. Like I said, I had posted like a couple other things like that people were referencing from them bringing up stuff from this episode. So sorry about that.
No worries. But yeah, Tommy Hilfiger is a white man, suspected racist. If folks have any other notes they wanted to share?
I guess one other thing is I thought that this episode, well, I mean, I mentioned it, but I think with this whole meeting that they're having, it definitely promotes the idea of name calling and coons. So I feel that a lot of victims are going to be focusing on that theme. And a lot of evidence has shown that name calling other Black people coons has never produced a system of justice or really produced anything constructive. And also at the end, when Paperboy was upset and was having that outburst, and then the gay male, anti-sexual male, Khalil, went outside to calm him down, and then was talking to him about getting a nonprofit. Also, another thing, I don't even know if what he was saying was true. From what I understand, people don't control the money in nonprofits. I could be in error, but there are a number of nonprofits that exist on the planet, and a system of justice has not been produced. So I suspect that that is not going to work. I could be wrong. And his character kind of symbolized, like, what was interesting too was when Paperboy goes into the room in that scene. There are two Black people in the room. All the white people, all the powerful white people were present, and you see the gay Black male and then the white female. I mean, the Black female in the back standing. So it's kind of like these people are allowed at this so-called table in the room. Once again, Paperboy has not been accepted. Black male. This is the second time, I think, in this series. The first time was the poker game. Now this one, once again, he's not being allowed in the room with the powerful white people. He's not allowed to sit in there. He ends up leaving. The Black male goes back in. The anti-sexual Black male goes back into the room, and so I think that's very symbolic of what's going on.
Well said, Mr. Kwaku. And just this, the Khalil's character. Shout out to the fellow host who mentioned. You say that real fast. It sounds like kill him, Khalil, something like that. This red vest thing. Someone mentioned that's supposed to be like a reference to D-Ray, and but I see like like a target. Like a target of a sort, but no one's really, in a system of racism and white supremacy, no one is gunning for anti-sexuals, like, at all, unless it's less intelligent, racist white people or highly confused victims of racism. Other than that, racist man and racist woman, they prefer and appreciate seeing as many countersexuals as possible, also known as LGBTQ people, homosexuals, lesbians. They prefer non-white people practicing that sort of so-called lifestyle than anything else. Because, hey, it means that these people are not going to focus on racism, and if they are, this may be the result. Just not attempting to solve the problem, but attention seeking, material seeking, and glory seeking, as we've been trained to do so. So, massive confusion, and in BLM, Black Lives Matter is often, it's such a massive display of genius that racists carry in their practice of racism, because it's like a massive double-edged sword. Some people, a lot of people appreciate it, a lot of people despise it, and Black lives, have never mattered in a system of race and white supremacy, will never matter in a system of race and white supremacy. And if this organization was of constructive value, they would be attempting to produce justice, guaranteeing no one is allowed to be mistreated, and those who need help receive constructive help. But they're not promoting that. I don't know what they're promoting, but it's not justice. And excellent display. And along with that Khalil character, we have the other non-white people who present themselves to be so-called allies, so-called fighting for social justice, social change, whatever that means. We must cease being deceived by these people that racist men and racist women put in front of us. We must understand that, hey, we have to go to the source of the problem, which are white people who practice racism, racist men and racist women, and tell them, hey, y'all need to produce a system of justice, or we could kill all of us, because no more Patricks, no more Georges, no more Rihannas, no more Blands, no more mistreatment towards anyone on the planet. You can kill all of us, and you guys could spend an eternity mistreating yourselves like you were doing before you discovered us, as you claim you did. And I'll pause my mic there.
The sweater thing also looks like a life. What do you call it? I just had it like a life jacket. So BLM life jacket. This guy's on support.
Yeah, I know it says survivor.
Yeah. And also too with this, like I mentioned with the other room, Paperboy not being allowed, it's like it's kind of like with some of the shots, right? It seems like Paperboy is the most powerful person in the room, or he has the most like influence in the room. But then, right there in the back, you see the white female, and it's like he's allowed to have this kind of power. He doesn't carry that same kind of weight when he's in the room with white people, but when he's in the room with other victims under the supervision of a white person, then he can somehow be allowed to have that power and that influence. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, like even when he made his pitch about the commercial that he wanted for the black females to be going around buying from other black businesses, again, you had the white woman in the background writing stuff down that would be correct for their business, and not for him to be promoting black people. Well, pretty much. I mean, he was using Ern's idea, but for like black businesses to be in black communities, so to speak. So yeah, I'm you.
Dang. Well, what was just said by Mr. Kwaku and Mr. Monsoon allows me to decode this imagery here in a different manner, and it shows the constructiveness of codification. Because the whole idea that black people, non-white people have influence or like power to do things that white people are not in control of is exactly what it says on this shirt. Fake. No such thing as a black leader, a black influencer. This black spokespersons, black spokespeople, which the code says are just people classified as black who speak for white people. And when you listen to a rap song and you hear a non-white person talking about driving down the street and killing black people, that's not really he's not speaking for himself. He's speaking for the white man and the white woman that have infiltrated and who now live in their mind, who now live in a large number of us minds and mine included. So very, very tragic what we're dealing with. There's no picture, imagine Jay-Z, and a black so-called African billionaire, and Akon sitting in a room. Those people are not powerful. They may not even have a lot of influence. They are still victims of racism and only doing what they're allowed to do by by the people who are in charge, which are racist men and racist women. And this may be a troubling to believe or to think about, but this is the reality that we may or may not be in. And I think the evidence that, and I think the evidence and a long record suggests that this is our reality, this is our existence, and we should be motivated to correct this as soon as possible. You know, we should no longer want to be paper boys, Earns, Darius's, Vanessa's, 0526's. I don't want to be this anymore. I want to be a universal male, universal man with and for universal woman, guaranteeing that no one on planet Earth is being mistreated and guaranteeing everyone who needs help is getting that constructive help. You know, maybe cruising, through the Jupiter highways on a some sort of hovercraft vehicle. But yeah, what we have right now, totally just incorrect. And pause my mic. Since I feel like we may have gone through our notes, let me make sure I covered everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at my notes. I think I mentioned things that I remember. Yeah, I thought it was like, if you understand some aspects of racism, white supremacy, then these are really great pieces of propaganda to dissect and focus on, because it serves a purpose, and it tells you how you should be if you want to advance. And I heard people was talking about the clothing on Khalil, and I just saw his outfit as like a pawn slash willing sacrifice, like a pawn slash willing sacrifice.
Yeah, and yeah, I suspect he's also Nigerian, and I suspect that area of the world, that imaginary concept, that imaginary concept known as Nigeria, has recently been in hot water because they're saying, "Hey, we got 2 anti-sexuals popping off over here. What's going on? Should we stop this?" And while the way they're going about stopping the anti-sexual promotion by racist men and racist women may not have been constructive, that's what they were trying to do. And yeah, so very the people behind the show, they're somewhat are aware of what's happening, yet does not seem to be pointing us in the direction of hey, let's solve this problem. Yeah, let's solve this problem. Reinvesting in a hood, a community, is not gonna solve this problem. Even if they all work together to do Paperboy's idea, it was not gonna solve the race problem, and it was not gonna help a lot of Black people, because I know a lot of non-white people who are classified as Black that have businesses, who are maintaining businesses. There could be a number of us who have those things, but I'm not privy to that information. So just giving us concepts that we have a community, false. Ain't no such thing as a Black community. Ain't no such thing as even a Black neighborhood, because what are neighborhood? We're supposed to be neighborly to each other, and according to the record, that's not what's happening in our so-called areas. They have trained us to be against one another. Even when we're not, shooting one another, we're trying to, compete against one another by saying who could have the best lawn, or the best car in our garage or our parkway. Just show offism, and it's not our fault that we are in this predicament. But as I read recently from Edward Williams, it is definitely our problem that we have to solve. So, Sarah, you did join us a little later. I think I decoded this little mascot here as a skunk slash raccoon slash coon slash rodent, and just that associating that with athletic clothing, and athletic clothing being code for Black people. If you had any thoughts about this caricature here.
Wow.
Mascot.
Wow. I completely like I didn't even register. Like it's my first time seeing the image of the actual cartoon character. And yeah, it is a actual raccoon. So very very blatant in your face racism, you know, we all know that there's historical ties with that word and associating Black people with raccoons, thieving raccoons, race code word. Uh, Very interesting. Decoding. I agree with what you're saying. I totally missed that. I love how most of the shots in Atlanta are static. Camera doesn't move very much in the show. But here it moves to like really put it in your face. I thought that was very blatant seeing it now because I did notice whenever the camera moves in Atlanta, I always pay attention because I know that this is a show where they really put a lot of attention into detail into having these wide shots most of the time, but very interesting.
All righty. If folks don't have any closing comments, I think I can close out with our quote from a calendar of revolutionary daily thoughts, Nyan Sasim. So if folks want to share a closing comment.
The only thing I want to say in closing is Black people should not be focusing on other Black people. That is what the system of racism, white supremacy wants you to do. Rather focus on white people and how they practice racism and producing a system of justice, producing constructive results. Well, Black people, no matter if they're coons, if you believe they're a coon or whatever, they are not the problem. White people practicing racism, in my opinion.
Indeed, Mr. Kwaku. And before I've been forgetting to mention this over and over. Lime 22 said, notice he is also wearing nail polish. And yeah, Darius is always wearing nail polish in this show. And they digest the could be the feminization, could be the confusion, it could be a mixture of both. But yeah, good eye. Any other folks would like to share closing or maybe wrap up some notes they didn't share? All right, excellent. All right, so the quote of today, because we have been led to believe that it is April 22nd, 2022, and I am reading from Nyan Sasim, A Calendar of Revolutionary Daily Thoughts by Mawalimu K. Baruti. And this is from April 22nd. The record of the 5,000 years that ended with the European conquest of the whole continent in the 19th century shows that every African state remained relatively secure and independent as it maintained a strict policy of excluding foreigners from settlement within its borders. Chancellor Williams. We have been told that the best way for Africans to be at peace with themselves in this cultural wasteland is to forget the past and build a new future as subjects of European society. We are further informed that given the imperfection of humans, the European model of civilization is the best we could ever imagine. and they urge us toward their interpretation of reality by saying that if we just become more open-minded, i.e., open to their mind / misinterpretations, we will see that they have become multicultural, bringing the best of all worlds together under their impartial, colorblind, protective umbrella. In order to become part of this new world order, though we must relinquish the past, we must forget both what they have done to us and who we are. This reason is nonsensical for those of us who know that we are the culmination of our people, for we are our people. To destroy the true memory of our people is to destroy ourselves. Affirm, Sankofa is my motto. And I'm gonna decode this for folks who may be a little bit, you may need that. So Sankofa means to take back. So perhaps Chancellor Williams is telling us to take back our Black self-respect, which is wanting and working to not be victims of racism and solving this race problem. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. This channel obviously is not that promoted by the algorithm that white people control. So yeah, please like, share, and subscribe if you can, comment if you can. CRWS signing out. Thank you for your